Hello. I want to make this last video because hopefully I'll be trying to figure out some ways of making some tutoring flyers. So again, this will be my last video. I want to talk to you guys about something I find interesting. If somebody, male or female, maybe, I don't know, perhaps it's more geared toward women, but many men fall in this category too. You know, if some male or female is sleeping around, or so-called sleeping around with quote-unquote random people, people look at that, the excuse that comes up is that, well, this person's lonely. And, this person is going to be lonely. They're doing this out of loneliness. Now, here's my question. Would these people give a damn if, let's say that the person wasn't having sex or was just simply didn't really engage in sexuality? I don't think they would. Perhaps they would care a little bit, but not as much. The point is that if you really care about people being lonely, then it shouldn't really matter what they do or don't do outside of being lonely. So, for example, you hear this mythology that, guys or whoever is watching a lot of porn or adult films or who's going to strip bars, this person is afraid of relationships. Okay? And so is the person who is not in a relationship. See my point? It's another cognitive bias towards those who have most likely a very strong or very moderate objection towards certain behaviors. That's nothing to do with I don't believe it has anything to do with necessarily them being lonely. I think it's just simply trying to demonstrate the superiority of a certain worldview. Now, again, if somebody is lonely, somebody is lonely. Let's say that this person is a stereotypical nerd and is dedicated to reading books. That person is lonely. That person is lonely, and that person may not be able to form relationships. As opposed to somebody that is going to an erotic dancing club. That person may be very sociable. The point is that these things have no effect. These things don't have innate direct effect. I mean, they could, but so can many other things. Okay? That's my point. To say that the users, people who, it's always the things that people have a moral objection to. Like, it's not just porn. It can be death metal. It could be, you'll notice things that people have a moral objection to. There's always this mythology that those who are watching or listening to this music are, for example, death metal. Oh, those who are watching death metal or listening to rock music, they are rebels, and they are lonely, and they're antisocial, and they are outcasts. They don't know how to socialize. They're afraid of interacting with human beings. They're afraid of relationships. Really? Is it? You're the same person. It's the same person who makes that same so-called objective argument, which is not objective. It's actually pretty biased. Okay, and that's fine. They don't have to like death metal. They don't have to like punk. They don't have to like these type of things. But it seems to me that their cognitive bias gets the best of them, and because they make these type of erroneous and meaningless statements. You know, asking somebody, if somebody, the bottom line is this: the person who is lonely listening to death metal is the same person who is lonely and is not listening to death metal. The same person who is so-called lonely and is watching erotica or porn, too much of it, according to people's standards, it's the same person who is lonely who is not watching porn or erotica. They have the same type of loneliness. Okay? The instrument which you blame or instrument that you say that manifests loneliness is absolutely just not well-founded. In fact, you see same thing, even with what's his name? Is it Winger or Weiner? Weiner, Weiner. Now, what's the explanation for Weiner wanting to have phone sex with, or whatever he was doing? Is it because he's lonely? No, because he may enjoy it. Oh, he's greedy. Oh, well, forget he's greedy. Well, of course. Well, it's not he's greedy. You shouldn't be behaving that way when you very well know that is not the code in mainstream relationships. That doesn't mean that the code is right, but you have to somehow respect the code, even if you don't respect the code fundamentally. Okay. Like I respect somebody that says that, hey, I'm not going to date people who have different religious beliefs than I do. And if I'm the person who thinks that I can reconcile those beliefs, I may not agree with it, so I don't respect it fundamentally in the essence that I agree with it, but I'll let them have that view. And that's the same thing with David Weiner, of course. But to get back to the point is that loneliness, using things that you object to as the scapegoats of manifesting loneliness is just simply shows your cognitive bias towards those things. It doesn't really convince me that those things are intrinsically morally objectable or objectionable, I should say, or inherently unhealthy. So that's the point that I wanted to make. That is the point that I wanted to make. Thanks.